Welcome back to MMO Madness Behind the Troll Mask, the podcast where the battlefield might be virtual, but the scars are real. I'm your host, Boss Mode, and today's episode digs into a messy and sometimes maddening subject, player versus player combat, or what we like to call around here, PvP, or just being a jerk. Because let's face it, sometimes you're in a fair fight, other times it's just a bully in mythic armor spawn camping your soul into the dirt. So, is PvP the core thrill of MMOs, or has it become a license for toxic chaos? Let's break it down. Let's roll back the clock. PvP started as a way to test skill, reflexes, strategy, pride. Back in the Ultima Online days, engaging in PvP meant risking your gear, your gold, and sometimes your digital dignity. But it wasn't all bad. It was exhilarating. Player-ran militias, dueling guilds, and city defenders gave MMO an edge of danger that made victories unforgettable. In early EverQuest, PvP was opt-in, but had brutal consequences. There was no matchmaking, no safe zones. You either stepped into the ring ready, or you got steamrolled. It wasn't just gameplay, it was a community culture. Respect was earned, not granted. But even then, it attracted griefers. And as MMOs grew, so did the line blurring between competition and cruelty. The rise of the ganker mentality. Enter the ganker, the stealth class sadist, the high-level warrior who camps the noob zone like it's a buffet of broken dreams. The kind of player who doesn't want a fair fight, they want a flawless kill streak and a salty whisper. World of Warcraft brought this into full bloom. The moment Blizzard allowed open world PvP on PvP servers, it became hunting season. And not just for enemy factions, but for easy prey. Hillsbrad foothills. More like Hillsbrad's mass grave. Let's not pretend it was all strategy. Some of it was just cruelty with a cooldown timer. PvP became a tool of trolling, and honor was something you ground for gear, not something you lived by. Ark took it a step farther, offline raiding. That's not competition, that's vandalism with a user interface. Players wait until you're logged out, torch your base, and post the screenshots in Discord. That's not PvP, that's PV petty revenge. Now let's talk about griefing disguised as PvP. Now we need to talk about the difference between competitive PvP and griefing. One has rules, the other thrives on the gray areas, often because the game allows it. In ESO, you can be mid-quest, just vibing in Cyrodiil, and someone rides up and kills you because you are a different alliance. I know, if you're going to quest in a PvP zone, you should expect it. But those players can tell if someone is just questing or not. Did they gain anything? Not really, but they just had to assert dominance. Sometimes it's not about loot, it's about ruining someone's day. Rust and Ark are infamous for this. Toxic tribes run entire servers. They build kill boxes, wall off resource nodes, and slap signs up saying, pay tax or die. That's not PvP, that's PV dictatorship. Now the systems that enable toxicity. Let's talk mechanics, because it's not just the players, it's the systems that let this thrive. Factions, leaderboards, kill counts, prestige titles, all of these things can motivate players to be better, but they can just as easily push them to be worse. Think about Black Desert Online, BDO. Guild wars and territory battles are constant. Some players don't even do PvE anymore. They just grief gathering routes and sabotage trade. Albion Online lets guilds tax players and impose rules in certain territories. That creates hierarchies and sometimes flat-out abuse. I've heard stories of guild leaders locking out players from city chests, then mocking them publicly for asking why. Even EVE Online, the master class in emergent PvP, has seen alliance leaders run Ponzi schemes using real-world currency. That's not just toxicity, that's felony-adjacent gameplay. Is it ever justified? So here's the hard question. Is being a PvP jerk ever justified? Some say yes, it's just a game. It's part of the mechanics. Don't like it? Log off. But others argue that intent matters. If your primary enjoyment comes from causing misery, you're not competing, you're exploiting. There's a difference between a skilled opponent and a sadist and a plate armor. There are examples of healthy PvP, structured duels in Final Fantasy XIV that are purely for bragging rights, arena seasons in WoW where top-tier players coach newbies, community-run tournaments in Guild War II that brings players together instead of tearing them apart. So yeah, PvP can be beautiful. It can be adrenaline pumping, rival building, respect earning glory. But that's not always what we get. It's culture, not just code. Let's be real, game devs aren't entirely to blame. Communities shape culture. Some players just want chaos, but others, maybe most of us, want the thrill of battle without the bile. Guild leaders can set the tone. Streamers can influence behavior. Forums, discords, and chat channels can either stoke the flames or cool the rage. If you're a PvP fan, ask yourself, are you building your rep or just breaking others down? Are you playing to win or playing to destroy? The answer matters because one makes you a legend, the other makes you a cautionary tale. PvP isn't the problem, it's how we use it. When it's done right, it's thrilling, unpredictable, and absolutely essential to the soul of MMORPGs. But when it's unchecked, unmoderated, and weaponized for ego and cruelty, it's just being a jerk with a sword. The next time you draw your weapon, remember victory is sweeter when your opponent walks away respecting you, not reporting you. Next week, we will be discussing toxicity by design, how devs unintentionally enable bad behavior. Got a grief story or a redemption arc worth sharing? Email me at podcast@mmomadness.com. Your story might be featured in a future episode. Don't forget to like, share, and follow the podcast. And now a word from our sponsor.
Subscribe now to MMO Madness, Behind the Troll Mask, sponsored by Boss Mode Fashion, because even if your DPS is trash, your outfit doesn't have to be. Find your next respawn-ready outfit at bossmodefashion.com.
Until next week, Boss Mode out.